Hello, everyone. I'm Professor Hall. Welcome to week 7 of English 130. So for this week, you're putting together everything that you've done and considered so far to turn in your final project. Number 1, look over the essay feedback from Module 5. See if there's anything that you missed, anything that needs to be added or changed, anything that needs improvement. I always give a lot of feedback as well as some links to resources if I feel like you need them. Next, go into your essay from Module 5 and make revisions. Consider what I sent out last week about cohesion and transitions. That's something I noticed a lot of people struggled with. If you didn't see that announcement, it's the one right before this from week 6. Then make careful decisions based on the feedback and your thoughts, looking at it a second time. This is also, again, a great time to get extra help from the Writing Center. It's free, it's there, why not use it? Or you can have a family or friend read over your essay and look at your last minute changes. Once you're done revising your essay, the rubric asks for a short reflection of 2 to 3 paragraphs about your second audience. So here is where you're explaining after your feedback in Module 2, after reflection in Module 3, after your peer feedback in Module 6, who is your second audience? How are they different from your first audience? That's the first thing you need to explain. It should be more than one sentence. You should really explain things here. Why did you identify this audience? What are their characteristics? 2, describe the needs of that audience and think about the choices that you're going to make to meet those needs. 3, describe the needs of the writing situation. Remember, this includes context, purpose, tone, historical context, all of that. How will you change things based on this new situation? So you have a second audience, you have an opportunity for a new writing situation, and then you revisit your paper and revise and rewrite it for that second audience. So this is all in one document, your first paper, your reflection. Typically what people do is copy and paste their paper again and then make the changes. If you have a ton of changes to make and you're doing a completely different thing for your second audience, that's fine too. Just make sure that you put it in that same document. You should have a significant number of changes though. Start with the hook and the introduction. We talked about that. Consider what's going to grab the attention of this new audience. What'll be the most effective? Consider your word choices and sentence structures. Do you need simpler vocabulary and sentence structures? Do you need to make them more complex? That's going to be up to you. Consider the examples and quotations that you used. Think about how those will impact the new audience, whether they will find your claim convincing. I recommend finding some new examples, maybe a new quote or two that your new audience can relate to. And then last, consider your purpose. This is, again, your writing situation, right? Are you informing, entertaining, persuading, reflecting? What are you trying to do that might be a little bit different from what you did before? If you had a very academic analysis before and now you're trying to be entertaining and explain this article to your friends, you're going to do it a lot differently, right? The rubric basically looks at all of these items. It is a long rubric. There are a lot of things there, so do look at it, go over each point, make sure that you have everything. Basically, it asks me to regrade your first essay based on the same criteria from Module 5, but with the points increased, right? There's more points for each thing, and there's I think 4 different things I can pick instead of just 2 or 3. I look at if you made changes based on feedback from me and your peers. So if I had you really need help with your thesis and your thesis is the same, that might be a problem. Then after I regrade your essay, I grade that middle piece, that reflection on your audience, their needs, and your new writing situation. If you don't have that in there, it's a lot of points that you lose for no reason. And then I grade your writing style, your choices, and your choices that you made for your second audience in the second version of the essay. And that includes significant, and that's in the rubric a lot of times. Make sure you look at that. Significant, lots of changes to meet the needs of the audience you identified. So As always, we also look at writing conventions, things like grammar, spelling, capitalization. So look your papers over carefully before turning them in. You also need citations and attributions. I'll be sending out another video later this week to help with that. One of them is for me, just kind of explaining a little bit better about how to do MLA and APA citations. And then there's a shorter lecture also on attribution. And that can really help when you go to integrate those quotes, which is something people struggle with sometimes. So I really recommend looking at the student exemplar. It can help quite a bit and show you what's expected and what to do. And that's all. If you have any questions or concerns, just let me know. Thanks, everybody.